of the butterfly stroke, and I'm quoting from an article that I took off of the swimming journal, and it tells about the history, and I'm going to preface my article by reading verbatim the article and going on from there. The name of this article is The Swimming and the Butterfly Stroke. The butterfly stroke is the newest of 4 recognized competitive strokes. David Armbruster of the University of Iowa is a coach who is widely acknowledged for inventing the stroke in 1934. It evolved from the traditional breaststroke and was originally performed with the breaststroke kick. But in 1935, a swimmer named Jap Sang Seig, S-E-I-G, developed a dolphin kick style with both legs kicking together. That style is used today. What is missing from the article is the fact that the stroke was invented during a swimming meet. It happened during a swimming meet. It so happens swimming in those days was dominated by 3 brothers, the Spence brothers: Walter, Leonard, Wallace, and sometimes they call him Geo. They're from Guyana. They were 1967 honor swimmers. Walter swam for Canada. I went on to numerous records, which I won't stop to go on from there. And Leonard, swimming for Bermuda, was also a national champion. Wallace was a 3rd of the legendary brothers. The Spence brothers were the other brother combination ever to win a national AAU relay crown in 1933. 6 of the Spences were survivors of where they practiced. They practiced in the Demerara River in Guyana, infested with paraguanas. All of them were bitten by paraguanas, and this is the reason they swam so fast. When they separated, Walter moved to Brooklyn, and he swam for the New York Athletic Club. And during one of the meets, it was a national meet, of which David Armbruster was present. He swam a 200 breaststroke. They were all good breaststrokers. But he swam this breaststroke in competition, and the finish was very close. As he approached the finish, he inadvertently threw his arms over, and in the process made a lunge forward and grabbed the edge of the pool, which put him in first place. David Armbruster was amazed because he waited for a disqualification, but inasmuch as the stroke was not taken underwater and was not used but the kick, they could not disqualify him because he did nothing to gain momentum. Then he figured out that the difference between the breaststroke and the crawl in terms of speed was the fact that whereas the crawl repetitive over a shorter cycle, the breaststroke took a longer cycle before strokes. So what he did, he had his team go back to Iowa, being the head coach, and had them work on the overhand stroke. As it was mentioned here, David Seig later on put in the dolphin. But this was used in conjunction with the breaststroke kick. And David Armbruster introduced this as the fourth stroke in swimming competition. A year later, when the dolphin kick was put into practice, he had enough perfection on it that his swimmers were good enough to compete on a very, very competitive basis among themselves, running away with everything, and the butterfly being the only butterfly, making the other butterflies seem very inept compared to the training that they had by the year's advantage. Well, anyway, that's the story of how the butterfly was introduced. Walter Spence of Guyana, swimming for the New York Athletic Club, threw his arms overhand and grabbed the edge of the pool to finish first. David Armbruster decided he could do it more frequently than the traditional breaststroke.